it's a good thing. It's a unique job, and for the players and the coaches, it's not like necessarily the real world. You're in this bubble. There's not really a dress code. You're in sweats, and the hours are long. Everyone's in for it until they're fired up, and then they hear the hours, and it's like, I don't know about that. But it's still teaching. Well, I think it's a little bit like a garden. Like, you can go a couple days and all of a sudden, like, what happened here? And I mean that where it takes constant, tending to and checking on players. And when there are all these different things that come up. Monday you come in and there's a player that's maybe a little bit more injured than you expected. There's the challenges of managing the roster, tight ends, it's every week there's something. And but relative to the team, it's important to have those relationships with individual players that are beyond football. And I think this team loves playing together. That's one of the things it's fun to coach, what we're seeing right now. And you guys see it. They're pretty unselfish, which is hard to be sometimes in today's sports. But look, it's contagious. But I think the ingredients in the very beginning on the procurement of the players, whether it's through the draft or through free agency, and building what you think are the important traits and values, and then removing those that don't fit that. And I think that's real important.
Have you gone many games with two healthy tight ends? Gone into many games with two?
No, I can only remember. Look, and I hate telling the story. We played a preseason game in Atlanta. If I repeat myself, forgive me, but it was a preseason game, and Kerry Collins, it was against Atlanta, threw an interception. And on that play, Shockey and Dan Campbell, Dan was playing for us. On that play, both of them got hurt. And so whatever your call sheet looked like you can cut it by 90%. And so hopefully that never happens.
Sean, does your vision for R.J. Harvey change a little bit with his maturity now, more as a protector?
Yeah, I think I would say this, though. Man, there's that saying, you haven't seen anything yet. And he was still had this rare running skill set that you're going to see and continue to. We knew he was really good with the ball in his hands, catching it, former quarterback. And so, he's being thrust into, there's a lot that goes into it. I mean, Vegas is going through it with, Genty but like we, as coaches, like identify, hey, how do we get him, even to where you're looking at is how do we get him the touches he needs, and then Jaleel, even Tyler, and how do we manage that and make sure they're doing the things they do well? There's a little puzzle to it, but when it comes to, look, there's certain things he's got to be able to do in protection. All right, it doesn't mean he has to be our third down protecting back, but when we run a play on second, it can't just be handoffs when he's in there. And he's good with protection. He's put together well. He's smart. He's just quiet. You guys that have talked to him, you know, you really got to poke him to get something out of him. But I think that's just his nature.
With Marvin Mims, is that kind of the same concept as Evan maybe?
Same thing, you know, and even Sutton, like, we finished the play action last night. Maybe there's 10 plays, and then we just go through those 10 and then put a jersey number next to each one if the primary is open, and then the drop back, and then maybe tweak one because we needed, you know, you have to, yeah, I think that's really important. Are we getting the ball in our guys' hands? And it doesn't guarantee it, but you do have to give some thought as to the personnel, and then who do we think is primary. And now sometimes it's easy if it's a sweep or a handoff, but other times in the passing game, it can be a little bit more challenging. Like we didn't know Evan was going to catch that 40-yard completion. You know, we're at the line, and Bo has got a menu, and he gets us to the right play, and then, bam, it's Evan's play. You know, if they play a different coverage, you know, it might be Sutton's play. So part of that is the menu of what he's getting to. It was a fantastic route. But more impressive was, you know, just the speed and I think it was like 3 or 4 completions and then the run. So anything else? All right, thank you.